Hey sportsman, John Bergsman here from the Great Lakes Insider Fishing Report. We're here today in studio chatting with Captain Steve Hubbard. He's our Alpena connection from CHUM BUCKET Charters. We've done a lot of stuff with Steve, from catching every single lake trout in the Atlantic and anything we can get our hands on soft water. But Steve's an avid ice fisherman out of the Alpena region. Steve, what do you got for us? It sounds like Hubbard, Long, Grande, just about everything has got fish kicking right now.
Yeah, after the major cold snap right there, everybody's starting to venture out and the fish are biting pretty well.
Yeah, I saw you sent me some pictures of some just gigotous perch. Talk to me. Let's start right there. The Hubbard Lake perch, and I know you don't go there and catch sometimes a huge number of those perch, but man, the size is just stupid.
Yeah, they run up to the 2 pound range and even beyond. You got to catch them right in the mix with all the walleyes. So you're just targeting walleye, and those big jumbo perch will be mixed right in. So
what's the concept there? Basically, just dropping a spread of tip up, going out there with a group of guys, putting your tip ups down, putting a spread of blues out there or emeralds or something like that, and then just maybe holing up and jigging? Or do you pretty much go pure tip ups for everybody and just run around like maniacs?
well, you almost hit it spot on there. It's primarily a tip up bite. I prefer that method, but some people do get them jigging. You know, it's still a fish. They have a mind of their own, but I find that tip-ups are pretty hard to beat because you can spread them way out and you can locate the fish a little faster, and then you can concentrate on that area.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that a lot of people fail to understand, is that when you catch a fish on a tip up, you don't just reset that tip up. Typically, good tip up fishermen will go ahead and grab the auger and pop another couple holes in close proximity to that hole. I'm not right on top of it, but reasonably close, to see if there isn't a group of fish kind of moving in the area, correct?
Absolutely. If you want to be successful, your one side of your spread's going to be producing more than the other. So you always grab the tip-ups that aren't, popping, and move them over towards the active area, and you will get more fish that way.
Exactly. And I've also seen it where guys would experiment at times by dropping, instead of jigging, they would actually put a Vexilar or whatever their choice of electronics is, and they would actually put a hole maybe right in the middle of a good concentration of tip ups, and sit and watch to see if there was higher fish than what they're fishing for. In other words, are there suspended walleyes moving around at a higher depth than what you traditionally set your tip up at, maybe a 6 inches to 18 inches off the bottom? I've seen it before, and I've heard from guys that they'd say, hey, the fish were 3 foot off the bottom today, and they were consistently off the bottom all day long. And they saw them on their Vexilla. They started moving some of their tip-ups up to them, and all of a sudden, what was a slow day turned into a really good day, because rather than just blindly sitting there waiting for the next tip-up, they actually drilled a hole, put a Vexilar down, and just sat and watched that thing consistently and learned something about what the fish were doing that day.
Absolutely. You got to be versatile, and you got to experiment and constantly changing things up to be successful. And yeah, if you're getting fish in one area, you definitely want to put more time in that area. Like you said, punch a hole right next to a successful tip up, and you can start jigging right there and start pulling fish as well.
Exactly.
With your tip up.
And the cool thing about Hubbard is that it's walleye and perch. And to be honest with you, the perch are so darn big, they're pushing having as much meat as a 16 or 17 inch walleye.
Yeah, you catch a 15-inch perch, it's 2 pounds, and a 15-inch walleye is only going to be about 1 pound. So you don't really want to take your pictures next to each other, because it makes your walleyes look like they're sublegal. But yeah, they're the biggest fish in the state. Many master anglers come out of that body of water, and it's just amazing to pull one of those things up. They look like a smallmouth bass with stripes.
Exactly. So talk to us a little bit about Grande. I know Grande has also been kicking fish, not quite the average size as Portage, but possibly a little bit better on the numbers. Now, I know that it isn't still a huge numbers game, and that starts to happen more in the month of March, correct?
Last year, Grand was hot, like mid-February, about right now. Um, we were catching them out in the flats, um, but it's mainly a perch lake, and you will get a few walleyes mixed in. It's kind of the opposite of Hubbard. Hubbard's a walleye lake where you'll get those big giant jumbos, but Grand's more of the opposite. You're going to get a bunch of perch, and then you'll get the occasional walleye.
Right. Same basic concept, though. I know up there you're setting a nice big spread of tip ups and then concentrating all of the activity where the action is happening. And whether you're going now, long is a lot smaller of the body of the three bodies of water, and it might be just a little bit easier to figure out. But that's also a dynamite perch lake, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah, Long and Grand, I pretty much consider them about the same. They are almost identical in depth. They are both long in nature, from north to south.
Mm-hmm.
They're right next to one another. They're both primarily perch lakes with a few walleyes mixed in. So you fish them almost identically. Right now, the fish are coming out of, 10 to 15 feet of water. Once again, spread your tip ups out and see where the most action's happening, and then just start migrating the tip ups or your spread into that area and concentrate your time there. So throughout the day, you can narrow it right down to a specific little area that's a hot spot for sure.
Absolutely. So, Steve, are you going to be doing any ice guiding now that you got good, safe ice? I know you're a super cautious individual when it comes to yourself personally and your clients as well. But now it looks like we got a pretty good solid ice cap up there. Are you going to be able, if guys call, are you going to be able to get out on the ice with them, or have you just pulled the plug on that for this year?
Oh, it's after that cold polar vortex here. It put over 12 inches of ice pretty much in every body of water, and I don't see it being hindered here. We got a little bit of a rain, but it stayed in the low 40s here for the last 2 days. So it should be solid ice all the way through the rest of the season, March 15th and beyond. So
beautiful.
Definitely be hitting the water.
Beautiful. Well, give Steve a call at Chum Bucket Charters. Also, give him a call right now to get on his laundry list of open water trips. Steve is one of the busiest charter captains anywhere in the Lower Peninsula for good reason. Steve and I have fished together on several occasions. Every single time we go out, we literally just truck the nice fish. Alpena and the surrounding waters of the harbor there at Thunder Bay is some of the most fertile, most productive combination lake trout, silverfish, and walleye fisheries anywhere in the Great Lakes. Call Steve for a charter. Get on his list. Steve, thanks for a great report. I'll look forward to reading the written report. And Steve just sent us a great article on those three fisheries we just talked about. It'll be in the Woods and Waters Outdoor News here in a couple of weeks, so watch for that article on fishing for perch on Hubbard, Long, and Grand. Steve, thanks again, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
All right, no problem, John. Talk to you then.
Yeah, bye.